brother.
Yeah, take it all, man. Take it all. I got nothing to hide, man. They've just stripped me down.
Right on, brother. This is the Signal. Welcome, everybody. Signal. We are grounded in truth, my friend. This is an effort to sit down with the influencers, the movers, the shakers, the CEOs, the people bringing the nascent technology that is driving the industry forward, and those that are taking it back down to the rubber meeting the road, which is where we got to keep our focus because we lose that so easily. And I've got my good friend, Mother Trucker, Alex Mai, on today, who, if you don't know, this guy's you were assistant manager at Walgreens, right?
Yes,
and then you got your CDL. You started running as an owner operator, right? And now you're one of the biggest voices in trucking media. I mean, how did you just get on your CB and say, "Hey, Mother Trucker," and it just stuck, or how did that happen?
Hey, you can say it, man. I'll tell you what. There's so many big voices out there. People doing big things. I mean, I'm just literally a guy that is just too dumb to give up on anything, and just seeing a vision is one thing. I'd be lying to you if I said I woke up one day and said I am a visionary and this is what I wanted. Because the truth is, I was not. I was lost, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. You know, I as a kid, every summer, my uncle worked for North American Van Lines. You know, he's a great uncle, wanted to teach me some opportunities. And so, you know, he's like, go on the road, have some fun with me. I'll yell at you. I won't pay you. And then you're going to learn something. And I hated it. Every summer. I was like, I will be anything but a trucker. If
you were moving furniture, weren't you moving furniture?
Yes, they call us bed buggers, sir. And I'll tell you what, my uncle did not motivate me well, and his goal really at the time was to try to push me for education and to be better than him. And what did I do? I went to college. During college, they have little programs and industry interns. So I picked something lazy. They had a internship at a Walgreens for assistant manager. If you come out on top, you're going to make $18.50 an hour. I said, $18.50 an hour. Sign me up, baby. That's money right there. Day long. Hey, that's money right there, right? And
you got to be a union driver to make that kind of money.
I tell you, hey, look, I tell you what, and you know what happens, right? You're working, you're not seeing stuff. You're dreaming big, and I say that for everyone out there that will listen to this is you are the one, right? We grow up, we're told we're the one, we're told we're special, we're told we're going to make $1 million, and we're told we're going to help people, and one day life just keeps on punching us in the face and telling us that we're not the one, and after a while, what ends up happening is you start losing confidence in yourself and you say, what the heck are these fake gurus doing buying Lamborghinis and stuff, which we find out later on in life that they just rented it to sell people courses. And we say to ourselves, what the heck are we doing wrong? And, you know, so my uncle did see that. He saw I was kind of just missing my spark. And he goes, hey, son, you know, hey, nephew, let me show you what I make. And I go, oh, shoot, I am motivated by money. Now, mind you, at this point, I don't know what gross is and I don't know what net is, but I know it got to be better than making like $2,200 a month or something like that.
Yeah.
He shows me this check that was like $25,000. And I was like, wow, that's not that bad. Like, what is that for? Like 6 months, 8 months, a year worth of work? Dude, I looked at that check. It was literally from like January 5th to like January 15th. And I was like, mind you, disclaimer, that was gross, right? You got to pay for the fuel, right? You got to pay for the lumpers. You got to move the stuff. I mean, everything under control. But he netted from that 25, honestly, maybe about 6 or 7. Okay. So
still not a bad living, bro.
Dude, bigger money than I've ever seen in my life. I said, forget it.
Yeah.
I told my company I was working for, I'm quitting. I'm going to go become a trucker full time, baby. Let's go. You know, and first year training with my uncle, I've never wanted to kill a man in my life.
But it was it, right?
I tell you, man, we would just fight, and I love him so much. He's a great man, but just the way, you know, some people are great at what they do, but not great at training. And so he had a way of making me feel 2 feet tall when I was only 3 feet. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. But man, I appreciate him so much for that, because let's be honest. Without those opportunities, after a year of working for free, he gives me a 1999 Pro Eagle that I blew up the engine after 6 months by myself on the road.
Oh,
But guess what happens? I don't know how to shift. I suck at everything. Can't flow gears. But
you need that tough love, though, dude. And this is what you're. I love you, bro. I mean, the tough love, but you just laying it down. Like I say, this is the rubber meeting the road. You are just straight up there. That's the straight story. You've lived it. You've done it. You've seen the motivation. You've gone out there and go, this sucks. And then gone through all these type of things. Right?
I'm telling you, man. Dude, I blow my that truck motor, and so here's the cool part. I saved up like 15 grand, right? And I put it down, and of course I work for North American Van Lines at Sterling and Cranston, Rhode Island, and he hooks me up with everywhere he's at. And I bought an old International Pro Star. Why? Don't hate on me, people, but because he drove an International Pro Star. Like I didn't care. I just knew that this dude owned freaking 8 houses that were paid off, and I wanted to be like him. You know what I mean? Like this.
Yeah. So, you were just emulating him. You were following your mentor, right? This is how he did it.
So to this day, to this day, you can say a long hood, you go big hood, freaking K100 cab over. You can say whatever you want. But when they said, well, why the International? Dude, I just wanted to be like my uncle, man. That's the correct answer.
Yeah, that's right. But you know what? Everybody, you need to find a mentor. You need to be somebody that you want to be like, right? I mean, that's part of the things, right? Or find somebody who's done it, and then pick the best parts of that person to get you there, right? And kind of emulate, do it yourself. You're out on the road, man, and you even said like you started documenting your life, right? Because you're out there, and this loneliness that you feel every once in a while you're out there. And it helps you kind of get your purpose together, right? Did you find that? Were these Zen moments where you're driving and you're out there on a lonely road going, what the hell am I doing? But maybe not in the what the hell am I doing, but what the hell am I going to do, and figure out where am I moving? Where am I going?
Hey, I keep it real. I'll keep it real, right? You start trucking long enough. So with trucking and moving furniture, you want to truck in the summers, and you really want to take the winters off, because winters, there's not that many moves and there's not that much money. We don't use load boards like traditional. We go through like agencies and things like that. And we're owner ops that usually own the truck and not the trailer. We lease that from them. But when it comes down to it, I was working 7 months on and 3 months off, 3 to 4 months off straight.
Yeah. That ain't bad.
And dude, I'll tell you this, you truck long enough, you start getting depressed. All right. Like, I'm just keeping it real. You stay on the road for 4 or 5 months straight, you start getting a little bit depressed. It's natural, man.
I had a similar, when I started in trucking, I actually started on the dock as a supervisor at Roadway Express.
Really?
And I worked 7 days on, 7 days off. They were 14-hour shift nights, and I did that for 3 years. So, I mean, you talk about your 5th night of 14-hour shifts in a row is rough, bro.
Dude. And see, and that's the thing is, what depresses people, and we're going to be positive here. This is not about depression. It's not about the me show. This is just about what's real is you do all this work, and then you do it long enough. Guess what's going to happen? Something's going to go wrong. Your engine's going to have a problem. You're going to have some type of issue. Your truck's going to end up in the shop, right? It's sitting there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You're not making any money at all. And then anything you did save is gone.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the depression part about trucking is you're working your butt off. And then when things are great, they're great. But then when they're bad, you have to use your profits to stay alive. And so when you really look back, you go, is this worth it? And, for the true drivers out there, man, they are something special. I mean, they truly are, you know what I mean? And so the truth is, I'm a bigger than life type of dude. You could hear from the way I talk, and, I'm not like I'm dating myself. I'm not that old, but you're looking back on MySpace and you're looking on Facebook, right? And you're just like, your friends are at home having a great time. You blow a steer tire, you're on the side of the road waiting for Love's Repair or someone to come. You're like, what am I doing with my life? Right. And so,
Yeah. Well,
my
you know what?
wife
Here's the
now,
thing.
you know,
This is what I find in this industry. It is, you know, it there's a certain mentality that that is attracted to it and loves it despite all those hardships, right? Because
yeah.
I remember football and it's 6 o'clock in the morning and you're already sweating and bleeding because you're and it's summertime and everybody else is at the beach and doing these type of things, but you're after some more glory. There's a bit of that in those moments where
Oh,
you're
yeah.
on the side of the road going, my steer tryer's screwed, but you're a road jockey, man. You are the Wild West. You're rubber duck cruising across New Mexico running
Yeah.
for the border, right? I mean, it's still
I'll tell you this, and people listening, say this in the comments, right? You could clip this clip. I would say after 4 years, if you're still driving a truck over the road, you're stuck, man. There ain't nothing else you're gonna want to do, right? Like, I mean, like
You're not
if
getting out of
you,
it.
dude, you're not being bothered. I mean, the days have changed, right? I
Yeah.
mean, no hate on all these telematics companies and no hate on all these compliances. I mean, things are what they are. And in the future, it just seems like, hey, it's becoming more of an office job than the job that we thought it really was. But honestly, once you drive a truck and you've been doing it for a long time, or you're doing it for yourself as an owner or operator, it's very difficult to go back and live a life where somebody tells you exactly what to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There is something still about that. And dude, it's in the blood. You do it for 4 or 5 years, you're a trucker, man.
Dude, I'm with
You're
you.
gonna go back and you're
I'm
gonna
like,
do it. And I'll be honest with you. I just had a daughter, and I want her to get her CDL because if life hits the road, then guess what? She could get a CDL and she could live, you know what I mean? She could live in the truck for a while, save some money. I mean, there's a good way to do this stuff.
there's a good way, and it's a great life, and it really is. And man, it's hard, like you said. I mean, doing what I'm doing now and that type of stuff. Some days I feel like all I do is manage my inbox, and it's just not that cool. And I got to go out to the truck stop and talk to the drivers and see what's doing and see what's going, because it's real. And let me ask you this: what is your BS meter? How do you keep it on your radar to keep the truth, keeping it real, as you say? Because there's so many narratives and there's so many different rabbit holes to go down and things to talk about. How do you stay away from the media hype and say, look, this is something I'm willing to talk about, or this is something I'm really to push. This is what I can get behind and throw out there as mother trucker, and people are going to go, yeah, he's still keeping it real.
Right. Okay. So, first off, this has become my full-time job.
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is I do find myself, now that I have a daughter, that I am partnering up with companies because it is very hard to sustain something if you just can't make a living doing it. That's just straight up real. I fought that for a very long time, that I would say, look, I ain't going to take no money. I'm going to do free forever. Now I have a wife, I have a daughter, I have a little place that I live at, and I have family that I try to help take care of. And I go, man, if this is my full-time job and I'm doing this 70, 80 hours a week, then I need to be able to at least make enough profit to make a living. But that doesn't mean that you have to lead with profit. I think what's gotten me so far in life is because I lead. I was talking to was it Newsbomb about this the other day. I was talking to Jeremy Stickland on my Driver Open Door podcast, and he said that since he's been there for 20 years, they lead with like impact versus just a dollar. And I find myself doing that as well. Is I lead with the impact that it makes on the drivers versus just a dollar. Like, let me give you a good example of this. And I'm not here to talk crap about something, but now when someone sends me like a video of a company that has like a big crash, instead of just putting it up just to get views, I'll actually send it to the company and say, hey, did you know that this is going on? and this seems like you have some type of issue. Don't know if it's a training issue or what, but I'm letting you get ahead of this first so that you could do something about it.
Yeah.
And you know what? It already lives on the internet and 20 people sent it to me, meaning that someone else is going to post it. But let me send it to you so that you could actually make a true impact in your company and figure out what's going on. It could be your training, it could be whatever, it could be miscommunication. But the thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not here just for cheap views. I'm not shooting anyone down. I'm just saying, here's an example. I won't say what manufacturer, but a driver saved up for 10 to 12 years, and he saved up and bought a truck for $165,000. Yeah. And so what ends up happening is the truck being brand new, I don't want to call it a lemon, but it ends up in the repair shops, and he can't make any money, and he's not getting a lot of assistance. You know what I mean? They keep on bouncing him around, things like that, from dealership and from manufacturer. And so he's like, no one's listening. So what am I going to do? And there's no shade to this person. And because he's a really positive person, he's like, you know, Alex, I've already been on 4 podcasts telling people to not do this, that. And he goes, can I be on your podcast to do the same thing? And I go, wait a minute. On LinkedIn, I actually have, like the not like the phone number, but like a first connection with the VP of marketing of this manufacturer. Would you actually rather me message this dude and say, hey, your story is you saved up 10 to 15 years to buy this truck, and now you're going broke because it's in the repair shop? Would you like me to do that? And he goes, yes. Guess what I do? I email the guy. The guy's a busy guy, messages me right back, goes, give him my email, let me help him.
That's fantastic.
And so I want to make impact now. I want to like actually solve the problem, and I don't want to just get views so that I could stay popular on social media. So
I liken that to a lot of things that are out there right now. People are always looking for the quick buck, right? And that's like, sowing the seeds and they fall on an inch of soil, as the Bible tells us, right? And then they grow up fast and they're gone, they burn, right? Instead of planting the long seeds that are going to grow and you're going to reap harvest forever and ever. And that's what you're doing, right? And that's what you've done. And it takes longer, but now you've got people who trust you and do those things. It's a lot like the different thing in trucking or in technologies, when people are looking for, they just want to sell. They just want to spam. They're just number hunters, right? They're just number hunters, and they're not huggers. They're not building those relationships. It takes a bit longer, but man, the fruits are so much better at the end when you do it the right way and you plant those seeds in the right locations and deep, right?
Yeah, no, I believe that. Look, I could bring up like certain situations, let me bring up like specific situations.
All right, let's hear it.
So as the mother trucker, I'm supposed to give a platform for people that are truck drivers.
Right.
Well, guess what? A whole bunch of people that watch the show are company drivers.
Sure.
And so so many drivers that work for Knight and Swift, which is big mega carrier, was like, Alex, we have a trucker appreciation thing. One day, would you come to our like company? And I was back then falling into, oh no, I'm the mother trucker just for the truck. Like those are the guys that you see on the videos that crash and this and that.
Yeah,
and then I go,
they get a bad rap, man. They just because I think it's because they're everywhere.
Look, and I'm bringing this, very specifically. It's like I literally get an email. Do I really want to respond back to this guy's email and say, I would not go to your trucker appreciation because you work for a mega carrier? The guy has been with Swift for 17 years, like million-mile driver. He was like, it would be so cool to see you, Alex, right? Am I saying that guy's not a real driver? That guy has driven more miles backwards than I have forward, right?
Yeah,
like
that's right. Yeah, he's a real driver.
So what I did do was I said, hey, let's do it. But I did talk to corporate and I said, I don't want you to pay me. I'll fly down myself. You're not going to pay for my flight. or my hotel, I will just go down. This isn't a sponsored video, and I'll come out. Well, guess what ends up happening anyways? Alex is sponsored by them. I knew it. He's a sellout. And you know what? I am so comfortable in being myself now that, hey, when I do have a partnership and they are paying me, I'll tell you I have a partnership and they're paying me. But as the mother trucker, it's my duty that if you are a truck driver, and I don't care where you work, it's my duty to give you a voice and a platform to say what you say. And you know what I mean? Because it's not my job to tell you where you work. I'm not a recruiter. I don't care where you work. If it's providing for your family and you're able to have a beautiful birthday and Christmas and Thanksgiving because of it, then I'm happy for you. You know what I mean? And so that's where I kind of lead now is I'm sharing information and I'm hoping it helps people. And if people think that I'm this guy that plays nice with everybody, the truth is I don't care. If it's helping truck drivers, I'm here for it. So I try my best to lead with impact. And I think of the dollar third. And I won't lie to you. I'm still thinking of the dollar because I need to provide for my family. It's just that I'm thinking of the dollar third. You know, self-driving semi-truck companies have offered me crazy money, Michael, crazy money. And you know what? I don't believe in them. So I haven't done brand deals with them. And so that's nothing wrong with, if you want to do it, that's on you. But I just think that that's something that I don't support. So that's where I take impact before, you know what I mean? Before the dollar.
No, I get it. You're like a mature punk rocker.
Hey, you know, it's I love these drivers, man. It's they've honestly given me an incredible life that I don't deserve.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And when the driver says, Alex, you know, F you per se, right? You could blame, like, I didn't curse, but F you, you know, you're not one of us anymore. And all you do is make money off of us. You know what I said to that driver? I get it because you're on the road. You're working your butt off. And here's a guy with a magic mic right here, right? Talking and being a talking head and at home and gets to, I get it. So I love everybody. I don't have no hate. You know, some of these comments you guys can lay off me. You know, yes, I'm Asian. Yes, I'm fat. And yes, I'm bald. But man, sometimes it hurts, you know. So
you like, I tell people, you know, when I wear my gear, they're like, oh, Alex mine. I said, no. Asian Mai gave me this.
Hey, I'll tell you that story real quick. You know, I'm using just a whole bunch of sound bites for you, right? I'm Asian. My last name's mine. I thought I was having a show. And they're like, what kind of Chinese cookie show is this in a truck?
He's cooking Kung Pao chicken on his turbo.
Hey, and I'll tell you what, I'm not sponsored by Panda, but man, orange chicken, honey walnut shrimp, that's a jam, bro. So I need a sponsorship.
No. My favorite, look, Panda, and I discovered this on accident, not Panda, but I discovered this meal on accident at the DFW airport at Panda Express. Double power greens and then double Mongolian beef. It's like 300 calories and 400 grams of protein.
Wow. Hey, look at you. You got the shoulders, brother. I mean, I'm still fat to need to get fit, and I'll get there again, you know. But yeah, man,
why didn't you go to the Buddha of trucking? Why didn't you just go to Buddha? You know, instead of it.
That's awesome. No, but it's
keeping it real. Keeping it real. What do you see is like the biggest lies or the narratives that are out there that are duping the truckers, right? Because you watch the news, it's harder and harder and harder with the proliferation of social media and everything over the years and instant news, and anybody can give you what is called news to actually figure out the truth, right? What do you see right now that is out there that the drivers need to look, dudes, that you buying into this crap, but it ain't right.
Ooh, I say this, and I'm not saying this in a scammy way, but I call everything a hustle, right? Yeah. The business of trucking, my friends, is a hustle. The reason why you're getting into trucking is you're hoping to make a profit, turn a profit, and provide for your family. If you
Right.
are not trying to provide for your family and make a profit, then you shouldn't be in any business at all. But the
Right.
thing is, I'm not here to judge your life, but you got to understand the hustle. So when someone puts a lease in front of you, you have to understand how that other man or woman is making their money,
Yeah.
right? And that's the thing is when you understand the hustle and you're saying, "Look, I'm okay with this," then that's one thing. What's wrong is when you do it for 5 years and then you don't know what's really going on. And from that, that's when you start getting screwed. So the
Mm.
thing I say to you, to everyone out there is education is so important and everything else is vanity metrics. Right now, anybody can put on their LinkedIn, on their Facebook, on their Instagram that they are a CEO of something. You know, you don't need to care about what people think about. And I think during COVID, when things were great and then people were buying equipment, tractor trailers for just like 10x the amount of money, right, Michael? We remember this.
Oh yeah.
Um, you're creating this business model that really doesn't operate well unless it's in a crazy freight rate market. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of these guys were probably more embarrassed that they told everyone they had a company and they didn't want to lose it versus just sometimes you just got to put your tail behind your butt and say, "Hey man, I give it a good go." You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and the thing about it, and I'm rambling here and I'll get back to it, is trucking's in cycles. So it's really easy and you'll see it. And I'll keep it vulnerable. I was a part of the problem. I myself was a part of the problem because what happens is people are doing really great during COVID.
Yeah.
And then I'm interviewing drivers at truck stops. And guess what's happening, Michael? Everybody's saying that they're doing well. Think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Think about that. Like, I'm even giving, at that time, Mother Trucker News and everyone else is giving a perception that
Yeah.
trucking is great, which it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah, I understand exactly. You were promoting the the false growth. I talk about the irresponsible growth in our industry that we saw during those COVID years.
Yeah.
I was screaming it from the rooftop, going, "Look, dudes, this is going to crash eventually." I had
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
call me and go, "Look, I want to buy a warehouse. I got this money. I'm going to buy a warehouse, and this guy's going to do it and all this kind of stuff." I said, "Dude, if and this was like 2022, the beginning of 21 or something like that." I said, "Look, if you're going to buy a warehouse and you've got it set up where you're going to sell this in at least a year and a half to 2 years and dump it, then do it. If you're planning on long term, you're a fool because you're gonna have an empty warehouse in another 2 years."
Yeah, no, exactly. Now, there's two sides of this coin. I was also telling people there is something going on in this trucking industry right now that doesn't make sense. The fact that you can rent a Penske truck and still make $450 a mile
Yeah.
and be profitable, I was like, this is a crazy time, guys. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I was calling this the gold rush, and I was telling people, like, dude, get your money. But
Yeah, if
I
you
was
got
still,
don't
I
plan
was
on
still
this being
interviewing
long
drivers,
term.
man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can strategize this to make money while it's there and be flexible enough to get back out of it when it crashes. Then go for it. But if you like this is the new normal, you're crazy.
Right. And that's where I did tell people as well as I said, look, do not just go buy 20 trucks.
Yeah.
Like this
Well, we
is
did
not
it
normal.
anyway.
This is not a normal market. So, I mean, that's why I say I have some fault in it is where I'm just saying when every time I interview people on the streets and they're saying trucking's great right now, regardless if I'm saying nothing at all because I just let the driver talk, I know somewhere out there that is motivating someone to be like, oh, maybe I should get into trucking. Right.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and so it's one of those things where, so I'm very careful in everything I do. And I did tell people back then, but just knowing hindsight where everything is, I just tell people everything, you know what I mean? And so again, same thing, but opposite. Everyone I'm interviewing is saying the world is going to burn and trucking sucks. Dude, if you're in a situation where you have a great contract, I've been doing a lot of partnering with Taylor and Martin stuff, and
Yeah,
I'm
I
seeing
saw
their
that.
auction. I'm seeing their auction prices where they're telling me that their prices have been going up 15 to 20% of what it was last year.
Oh, wow.
That what's that saying? That's saying that in real time, something must be getting a little bit better for people to want to buy equipment at 15 to 20% markup. You agree, Michael?
100%. I mean, you've got to dig into the data a little bit more, but it would tend to make me take pause on the narrative that it is a supply side recovery, lack of supply of capacity recovery and turning into a demand a bit, right?
Right.
If
No,
you,
exactly. I'm big on
yeah,
data and I'm big on numbers.
yeah,
So
100%. That's exactly what I would see. I want to ask you something here before we get into driver open door, if you don't
sure.
mind. I want to move this into something here. What the industry realities and that which is going on right now, right? There's a lot
Yeah.
of different things that are happening. First, I'd like to get your take on what is going on. In my mind, one of the most important things is the crackdown. And we don't have to get into political motivations or anything like that, but the crackdown on non, credentialed drivers or those with credentials that are suspect in school, PL schools, etc. What are you seeing there? What are you hearing from drivers? What are your thoughts on that?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that was a huge one, right? That's
Yeah.
where I lose like half my subscribers and I keep on, you know what I mean? Like, here's the
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I mean, if we want to avoid it, we'll avoid it. But I mean, I don't.
No. We can talk about everything. I'm used to
Yeah.
losing my subscribers, so I'm good with that. You know what I mean? Don't just straight clip me, Michael, saying I am the problem for COVID and why the rate, don't just clip that part and like destroy
I'm
my
going to do
life.
that. Yeah. His name is Alex Fauci Mai.
Yeah, exactly. Like I destroy trucking. No, I'm just
Yeah.
saying that
No.
I take
Dude,
credibility.
I would never do that to you, bro.
No, right. But you know how media can be. But I
Oh,
just always keep
100%.
it real. Like I've been doing this news thing for a while, so I take credibility for every segment that we're in for the last decade, for sure. Maybe that's an arrogant statement in its own, but I've been doing it for at least this decade. And so, all right. So let me give you the true, right? So check this out. I do a video with a guy that was an ex-DOT officer, right, Michael?
Yeah.
And basically the situation in hand is he says about this 2016 memo where you're supposed to speak English, but if you don't, then you kind of get a slap on the wrist, right?
Yeah.
And guess what happened? Shannon and Harvey, those guys, they created American Truckers United off of that knowledge, not off of me, but just maybe inspiration of that.
Sure.
And they told me that, right? And so I have a bigger part of this play than some people think, which I get a lot of emails of people wanting to cancel me and like it's you, Alex, right? But this is how I feel. We'll get into this. This is how I feel right here, right? If I'm walking my wife and my daughter across a street and the stop sign's not working and it has a digital sign that says, hey, yield for passengers or what have you.
Pedestrians, yeah.
And your butt can't understand that and you murk my whole family, God. I have a problem with that.
And you get canceled. I get arguments from people too. You hate immigrants. I was like, what are you talking about? It's not, this has nothing to do with it. If you are straight up white cornbread, middle, or Midwestern, and you are illiterate and can't understand that sign, you have no reason being in that truck either.
Right. No, but that's the thing, right? Is
right.
When it comes down to it, I get it worse because, to their emails I've gotten, I look like them, right? I was born in America, and they go, Alex, you forgot who you are. I was like, I don't know who you thought I was supposed to be, but I was born in America, proud to be American, and I think that drivers in America should make livable wages, and then we could figure everybody else out. That's how I feel. Cancel me if you like it. It's all good. Michael, clip it. Right? No, but
Clip it. There it
I mean,
is. I love it, bro. Let me get what's your take on autonomous trucks? Because whenever I talk to like people who consider themselves the real truckers, not posers, they immediately go, "Oh, hey, they're no good. Get rid of them." They have their
right.
place, and the technology's got places, right? Or what is your thought? Are you one of those like, "Hey, forget it"?
No,
And
that's good. That's good. Look, this is why I think this is why I truly think to all the drivers out there that listen to this, you need to put more tools in your toolbox.
yeah,
You know, that's what it comes down to. All this is the damn train. Okay. I mean, I've talked to all these guys. I sat down in all their meetings. What they're going to do is there's going to be a localized place. Let's just call it like a beer product, and that beer product is, you're going to pick it up and then you're going to drive it right next to a drop and hook spot near the highway. And then a self-driving truck is going to take that sucker all the way on the 10, all the way down
yeah,
to another drop and hook. And then a driver's going to take it and unload it locally.
yeah.
It really just sounds like another freaking intermodal type of situation.
And that's exactly what it is, right? We're going to create these inland ports, and you're basically going to be a metro drayage or something, right?
And look, that hasn't taken everyone's jobs. And so there's one thing though that people are forgetting, and I think this is why trucking is going to be safe here, is everybody wants things yesterday. You bought it, you wanted it yesterday. And so these products that these self-driving trucks are, these companies that this is what they're going to want. What's going to happen when you buy something you really want and it says, hey, you're going to get it in 3 months?
That's not going to work.
It's not going to work for people in the way that we, digest things, the way that we eat things, and the way that we buy things. And so the honest truth is, I think that a lot of big players, they're not going to be using this. There really is. Now for certain things where there's just warehouse to warehouse, they're a big distributor of beer, wine, like something that doesn't go bad. And they just know that, once a month they need, a continuous, almost like the train, load and unload. Hey, those jobs are going to be gone, guys. And let's be honest. Book one of those jobs now. Book a beer product job now. Those jobs don't pay well anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. They don't.
So long story long, without beating around the bush.
Yeah.
This technology is here, but just know that it's going to be such a small percentage of the trucking industry that you have nothing to be afraid about. I don't think any truck drivers protesting trains right now.
That's a good point. That's a very, very good point. That's a good point. Let's take, when you told me about this, when we just recently spoke, I just learned about this is your new venture, Driver Open Door, right? Can we get into that a little bit? Because when you told me about this, I was like, who better to create this product than you? I mean, as far as knowledge and understanding the driver and what is out there and being that liaison and being the voice of the drivers to make themselves better, to learn a little bit more and keep that understanding between drivers and management and industry and drivers, and have them understanding their industry in a clear way where they can make rational, intelligent, responsible decisions. Who better to build this product? Can you tell us what is Driver, but then what was your inspiration to bring it?
Sure. Basically, very simple. Your company would partner up with Driver Open Door, and then your company already has all your information, of course, right? And so with our software, what ends up happening is whenever you have an issue, we call it the bat signal. Whenever you have an issue, it could be a repair, it could be a pay issue, it could be a HR, it could be a dispatch, a planner issue, it could be any issue that you have at this very moment as a trucker. Guess what you could do? You could literally put your phone number into our website, and then it's going to give you a code that texts you a link to your text message, and you can tell your company what the heck is wrong with you and how you need something resolved. And then you could click the button if you want to stay anonymous or not.
Mm.
And the great part about it is whatever, if it's a immediate issue, like right now today, it will actually message your leadership, not your dispatcher. It'll message your vice president of operations or VP or president of human resources. So depending on what your situation is, my AI will direct it to the department lead and solve your issue in real time. Mind you, this is not a magic pill. If your company does not want to solve your issues, then you are working for the wrong company. All the
Amen.
software does is give you the tools and gives them the tools to communicate in a safe manner.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
if you're thinking retribution, this is not going to be anonymous and there's going to be retribution, you're working for the wrong company.
You are. You really are. So at the end of the day, Driver Open Door is just a way for you to message your company about anything you need. And then my AI sends it to the right person. But it's not your dispatcher. It's not someone that can blackball you or, give you backlash. No, it's going to be someone that can actually make a change or fix your paycheck or whatever issue you might have. Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I was going to say, I've been going out and building Via Recta, which is the straight truth from the straight road. It's go out and just talk to drivers. What's on your mind, driver? Ask them questions, that type of stuff. Fantastically intelligent, well thought out answers, and people who are on top of things, man, is what you start to realize when you start talking to drivers. And maybe not everyone, but a huge percentage are really actually very, very good people and very intelligent. I asked them, what should management know that they don't, right?
Mm.
And the overwhelming response was they just need to get into the cab with me and drive around a little bit and understand what I go through on a daily basis, right?
Mm.
This kind of opens that door, right? This product.
Yeah, it definitely does, right? My thoughts is right now, if you look at Warner, Schneider, you look at any of these earning calls, because I like numbers.
Yeah.
The data is stating right now that they're actually making more money with less trucks on the road. And where I kind of dissect that is I say the most professional driver that they have is so important to them for the next 18 months right now. Yeah. And so keeping professional drivers working for them is extremely important. And so my thoughts is talking about what you're talking about now, having great communication and great resolve is the best thing that a company can have for their profits, for their turnover rate, for their retention, and for the driver at the end of the day to be happy. Because here's the problem. And if you're a driver, you know this best. The office says, man, I take care of this driver. It was just one time that we didn't take care of him. Well, guess what? That's all that takes, because the driver's the one on the road. And if they get stuck at a warehouse for 4 days and can't provide for their family, they're very upset. We are the only job out there where we're working and we have to fight for the money that we deserve. It's crazy. Nobody else has to do that. If you work in an office, you're going to get paid. You clock in, you clock out, you get paid. Oh, you want me to travel and stay on the road and be uncomfortable? You're going to pay me more money.
Yeah.
I understand drivers signed up for this job, but I'll also say this is the only damn job where a driver has to fight for the work that they actually did.
Well, I've come to the realization, or maybe not realization, but my current thinking is that Eisenhower knew what he was doing, obviously, when he built the interstate system. And it's brilliant for defense, for commerce, for truck driving, all that kind of stuff. But it was built for defense and for the economy. And the economy is, if you've ever played, war games or anything like that, or Risk or Axis and Allies, economy wins wars, right? And it creates societal stability and securities. And the truckers are no small part of that, right? I mean, they're running it, they're doing it. My argument is that these things that drivers don't get are national security issues. because we need to have drivers. We have to have these things moving. Why aren't parking spaces? Why isn't parking part of the infrastructure? It should be part of the infrastructure. It shouldn't be a privatized thing. It shouldn't be an argument. It should be part of the infrastructure. Why is it law that drivers are treated with respect in the way they should be at every customer, shipper or otherwise? Because I mean, that in my opinion, that's part of our infrastructure. These are people who are part of the infrastructure that is the country.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. If we're talking about operations here, if someone's an expense or asset in the world of trucking, truck drivers are an expense. That's the problem. I mean, let's go back to our topic for a second ago. I mean, why is there even autonomous, technology right now? Because they don't want to deal with the driver. You know what I mean? They're willing to spend more money not to deal with this driver now than later, right? And the biggest problem of all is when it comes. That's why I hate technology so much. Me building this out, even me building this out, if me saying this is for the driver, fleets won't buy it. You know what I mean? So if I say, hey, driver open door is anonymous feedback for the driver and it helps give them a voice, fleets say, I don't care about that. They're not saying that, but no one's saying yes to that. But guess what they do say yes to? How much does a driver cost you, sir? Oh, $12,000. What if I can help you find a way to save that driver from quitting?
Yeah.
And they go, oh, if you can help me with that, you got my buy-in. And so what happens with technology is when you try to do this great thing and you try to build for the fleets, you try to build for the owner operators and the carriers. And then when you build out your technology, you find out two things. One is no carrier has freaking money to buy your technology. But then guess who does? The other side. The freight brokers do. The load boards. Like everyone on the other side has the money. And then what do? You came in with a great idea, right, to help the drivers. And then you find out the only one that will buy your technology is, I'm not hating on freight brokers, but just say the freight brokers are willing to pay for that information. So now, and this is no shot at anyone. This is just technology trucking 101. You say how awesome this is for the carrier and the owner operator, and you give it to them for free and this and that. And then all these freight brokers on the other side now have them by the balls, right? And so now it's like, hey, driver, if you want to work at all, you're going to pay a subscription for X or Y or Z, right? So the big problem is, one, the people that write the checks are the VCs and the office and the freight broker side of the business.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to create something that was for the driver. But even if I wanted to create something for the driver, Michael, I still have to spin it on LinkedIn that's 100% for the fleets.
Yeah, you absolutely do. Yeah, it's two different messages.
It's two different messages. And I swear I'm doing it for the driver. But
you have to go in there and you have to sell to the CFO. That's who you're selling.
Exactly. So the real discussion is, now let's go long story long here. We want to solve parking. We can't say, let's build and save parking for the driver. We have to say, if your drivers can't find parking, freight brokers or the other side, this is how much money you're losing every day.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's the problem in trucking.
The government is we can reduce the cost of goods by having more parking for these, to get money into this. Either way, that's exactly all of it is. That's where all of it is, and I think that's kind of the bottom line of what you said, that you have to understand the hustle, which brings me to a couple closing questions here. What's the clear message, or when you see young drivers and you talk to young drivers, what knowledge do you want to impart to them, or what knowledge do you want to take from the seasoned drivers and plant it in their brain and to give them guidance to maybe not make every mistake like you and I did.
Yeah, no. Well, let's talk about let's go backwards. Let's talk about the seasoned drivers first.
Yeah.
Have patience for these young drivers, and not all of them are knuckleheads. And there's some that really want to learn. And the days of the past might seem gone, but they're not. I talk to the young generation all the time that really respect the older OG drivers out there. And, so just keep an open mind and don't lose who you are. And even if one brushes you off, continue to share your message and educate these younger guys, get out of the truck and help them back in. You know what I mean? Like it's not a full lost cause. Like you're going to get that one that's going to be that mentee that's just like listens to what you're saying and is going to make you smile and bring some life back into you. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing, right? Is, as we get older, I'm doing the same thing. I see new influencers come out. They're getting 1 million followers in 2 months and going, Alex, is this any good? And I go, you're doing wonderful. I want to love on you. I don't want to, the two things you can be is you can either be envious or you could be helpful. And so I'm going to choose the route of being helpful, and I want to help this new generation and say, hey, man, it's great that you want to talk about a video that's going to destroy a trucking company or might get a lot of clicks and views, but just think about the impact that you're making and is it something that you're truly happy with? You know what I mean? And
100%.
And the young generation, it's one of those things where I would say to you is if you don't have a lot going on and you're honest to yourself and, no hate to someone working fast food or anything like that, but there is some worldly advice about just getting out there and learning about different states. There's so many people that stay in one space in one county until the day they die and have no traveling experience. I can't tell you, like, the reason why I'm here today is because of certain interesting like conversations I've had with people that sparked the idea or something randomly from somewhere that I was. Right. Yeah. And so for the young generation, it's kind of cool, man. If you don't have too much responsibilities, maybe you don't have a husband or wife yet or kids, the thing that's going to cost you the most money is where you live. Man, you could literally get in a truck, work your butt off and save your money for 4 years and create good habits and take that money and pay off a house, or throw that into a business that you really care about. Because I'm 41 now and I still don't know what I want to do. And so if you're 18 or 19, you might get a lot from just getting out there and just taking the hits, taking the licks. And I'm not telling you to get straight up scammed and robbed and go lease with a company or anything like that, but travel, learn about yourself a little bit. This is the time to learn about yourself and tell yourself what you want, what you want. Hey, you might, if we're talking from a male perspective, you might be living in California and find the love of your dreams in Florida, driving a truck. I mean, I don't know.
That's exactly right.
No,
you're 100% right. And too many people think that, well, I've chosen a career and I'm 20 and this is my career. Come on, man.
I still don't know what I want to do for a living. Maybe that right there might scare some of the people I work with now, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I'm 100% with you. That's a great message. Because I was going to ask you, what is the one message you would leave? And I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
What do you say to policymakers?
Policymakers?
Yeah.
With policy is very difficult because for one policy they make, they always try to make a one fit all. And I think the problem with that is I'm just analyzing it out loud, right? Like, for example, on paper, okay, if we're making this EGR and we're making this DPF filter and it's going to make the world this better place, okay, awesome, right? Why would we not want to do that? But then you find out that, wait a minute, the engine can't breathe right. You know what I mean? It's always in the shop. You're actually hurting more people than doing good, right? And so what I think about is, I don't know, politicians and compliance. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, are they really doing it because they care about the world, or are they doing it for the next vote so that they can, you know what I mean? So
Well, I
it's
mean,
very
based
difficult.
on what I saw, $150 million for parking spaces. That's for a vote because most people won't do the math and realize that that's like nothing.
Yeah, yeah, and all right, if you really care about freaking spaces, then truly, at that point, why are we putting all this damn technology into the weight and then so it fits on an app that tells you there's 4 spaces that are available? Like you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
crazy that it costs $40,000-$50,000 a space. Like I think
Yeah.
that's what the math was like panning out to, Michael. And
Yeah.
it's like, dude, open up all your dang way stations that you have closed. Okay, that's a start. Like let's
There
start
you
with
go.
some free stuff right now.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
We don't need money. We don't need pay for spaces, and we don't need somebody charging for a space that's behind a warehouse that's in downtown when you're driving the interstate that's 20 miles away.
Yeah, like dude,
Those
I'm
make me
telling you,
laugh.
man. Okay, so compliance. I don't know. I'll say this, and this could be another thing that gets me canceled, which is great. I love all these conversations. I think that I talked to Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy. I talked to Derek Bars. We were walking
Yeah,
around the Mid America Truck Show,
yeah,
and dude sounds like he's actually trying to listen, trying to care, and,
yeah,
and and try and do some things. So all I have to say to these, compliance and all these people now is we are at a cool space right now where I think these guys are trying to listen at least to understand the game. And when you're humble enough to open up your brain and your heart to something you truly don't understand, I think that's where things really do make sense. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Right.
And
That's
so I think we're in a good place as far as we're farther right now than we've ever been before. I mean, we got a lot of issues, guys. I mean, there's a lot of issues in trucking. You know what I mean?
yeah. There is.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's next for Alex? What are you doing next, man?
Um,
Pushing
I
this
don't
driver
know. I
open
change what
door?
I
What
do
are you
every other year. I mean, I think I'm sticking on this driver open door thing for a while just because I truly think that if I can create a safe environment where drivers and leadership at companies can feel safe to make a resolve, then we could. I think miscommunication is the problem of a lot of things in life.
Yeah.
And so if we can at least get to a place where people could say, the driver could say, look, Alex, my mother trucker, built a software that if I push, I want to be anonymous, my job isn't on the line. And I feel comfortable enough to tell the company what they really need to do to make a change. And this gives the company the exact, cliff notes of what they need to do. Then I think all the ships will rise. We'll get a little bit better. And there's going to be companies that don't care. I'll be honest. I'm not going to say no names, but I have companies that have said, Alex, we're fine. We have 120% turnover rate at our company, and we don't want to hear any messages. The owner has a nice boat and a nice house, and he seems to be fine. And you know what? He doesn't want to see that stuff. He's putting money in his pocket. And he's good. And you know what? I say, hey, I don't think you'll be around in 5 years, but hey, that's, I mean,
that's irresponsible. It's like shareholder primacy. It's not responsible capitalism. You should have some sort of morality or purpose to what you're doing, and
that's the thing, right? Dude, I'm not an ego guy. Like, I don't care if you're using my stuff or not. But here's the thing: if you're not making any strides at trying to communicate with your drivers, which in trucking, the driver's literally the only way the whole company gets paid, then you're going to be out of business, man.
They're your best asset. Quit treating them like an expense. They're your best asset.
That's what I'm saying, But yeah, man, clip all the cool parts you want. Make me look good. Try to not get me too canceled, Michael.
I will. And look, this will go. I will not edit anything out of this, the full show, unless you call me in the next week and say, look, I really didn't want to say that.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing there.
No,
at the end of the day, I speak the real truth. Like the real truth is trucking is hard. We need changes. And I'm truly trying to make, I'm ignorant enough to think that I can make some type of impact with just the platform that I've been given by these awesome drivers. Like at the end of the day, that's what that is. But you got to be real about everything. Right? This game is not sunshine and rainbows at all.
Yeah.
And it's such an easy game to sell a dream to someone. And that's just the truth, man. Like, and I think that's why people rock with me, to be honest. I mean, that's at the end of the day, I've always done my best not to lie to people. And if I accidentally lie to people, I jump back on right away and I say, hey, look, I know I said that this company's going out of business, but I put up the wrong thumbnail of the trailer. It's actually another company. And I've done that a few times, Michael. And guess what?
We all make mistakes. It's what we do with those mistakes, right? And telling the truth is hard because it can get you in trouble.
But and that's all there is, man. Hey, we start with the truth and we go from there. But yeah, man, thank you for having me on your show.
And thanks for coming on, dude. Let's do more of these things, man. I love it. I love you. My brother, Alex Mai, thank you so much for being on, brother.
Hey, we keep it Mother Trucker, man. That's what I do.
Amen. Peace and love, my friend.
Hey,